on the importance of learning to accept, move past, and live with our constantly moving mind and its equally uncontrollable thought pattern. Please welcome Brad Rombach.
I woke up this morning, brushed my teeth, and got dressed. And just before I was about to leave the door, I almost forgot to do, the most important part of my morning routine, to check my horoscope. And of course, I needed to know kind of how the speech was going to go. For the fellow Capricorns who have not already checked their horoscope this morning, today's forecast is as follows. You'll be able to find out when you're laughing today. And hopefully that is not a representation of this speech. As you might have guessed, I'm only kidding. I don't do this every day. But just as some might chuckle at the idea of checking your horoscope, I believe we also have our own horoscope playing out in each of us daily. Something that dictates our decisions, our mood, our day. Yet even more dangerous than a horoscope, we are unconscious of this. I'm speaking about the human mind. Our thoughts, our mind is totally unpredictable. We do not have control of the content or the velocity in which thoughts occur, and they can originate from many sources. Some thoughts and images can be planted in your head by others without your consent. To illustrate this point, here's an example of having zero agency of random thoughts. Picture a pink elephant. Everybody here has an image in their mind immediately. Picture your grandma winning the Winter Olympics in figure skating. Picture Donald Trump in a Speedo. Sorry for that last visualization, but nonetheless you understand my point. Imagine somebody starting a talk with something politically charged. Thoughts can be visualizations, but they can also produce real physical consequences. If somebody started to talk today and said, Donald Trump won the election and the Democrats stole it. Or if somebody started to talk and said, Hillary Clinton has a pristine reputation, but the the Republicans tarnished it. For us in the audience, on both sides of the political spectrum, that would make our feet curl. If we hooked up everybody to a heart rate monitor, some people's heart rate might make a tick. I would extend the argument that thoughts are visualizations, but they can produce real physical outcomes. Like an uptick in heart rate, feet fidgeting, or just general annoyance. Those are real consequences. Ultimately, we are at the mercy of our thoughts, and we cannot control it, but we can manage our reaction to it. We've established that thoughts can produce real results, but for most people, their thoughts are totally unconscious and difficult to discern. These thoughts color our mood, slowly without being detected, under the radar like a 1960s CIA experiment. We all let ourselves be carried away by our thoughts. Someone cuts us off at traffic on the way to this meeting today at 7 a.m. By 7:01, the thoughts continue to compound. The blood pressure is up 50%. 7:03, your fingers are wrapped around the steering wheel. Knuckles white, teeth gritting. 7:05, you're thinking about all the creative things you could have said to them and the gestures you could have displayed. And because you've been victimized by the onslaught of negative thoughts, again, totally unaware of the ride that you've been taken on, you sit down here fuming, and you ultimately miss a good time with colleagues and friends. An excellent quote by Sam Harris, a neuroscientist, goes as follows. You only have your mind. It is the basis of everything you experience. It is you in each moment. To understand our mind deeply and to directly recognize how consciousness is prior to thinking, prior to reacting, and prior to trying to change your experience in any way at all, can be the most important thing you ever learn to do. There's only one choice between noticing what arises in each moment and simply missing it. Like malware on a computer, to not notice is to be merely operated by the whirlwind of emotions, thoughts, and assumptions. This ultimately determines our reactions and our lives. When we think about the word forever, we think about a relationship. A husband, a wife, maybe a child. But our mind is the one thing that will be with us for forever. In each moment and every day. Something that can be nurtured and maintained like and maintained like an asset, or neglected like a total liability. There's a misconception about meditation. We don't have to shave our head, don an orange outfit, move to India, and hum all day long. It doesn't have to be complicated. It can be done in the comfort of your home or your office. It doesn't have to take very long. The biggest misnomer of meditation is that the goal is to stop thought. That is not the case. Thought's impossible to stop. But it is to recognize thought. It is to recognize when you're being led down a pathway and when your thoughts continue to compound. Thoughts are like clouds. They're constantly there floating above us. Some clouds, they're easy to navigate because we can see them for what they are, a distant thought, far removed from us. But in other circumstances, they're not so easy to see. They come to us sometimes like a fog, enveloping us and surrounding it around ourselves. And in these moments, the not so absurd thoughts, it's like a wolf in sheep's clothing. They're the ones to be on the lookout for because they're the hardest to spot. The first step to somebody recognizing that there's a problem is ultimately acceptance and understanding. When we recognize our thoughts for what they are, out of our control, ever-changing, and we ground ourselves in the present moment, we begin to win this silent, almost undetectable war within our mind. The war for clarity and perspective. If being lost in thought is the poison, the liability and the emotional roller coaster, being grounded in consciousness, the present moment, the here and the now, that's the antidote. Thank you very much.